This is Damon Stevens with Finwell Builders. Today is Wednesday, July 20th, 2022, the stock market update for our trades of the day. And boy, what a market. The bulls continue to rally here and they're breaking out into some new highs here. So great time right now in the market, but just be careful. We could start to go into a range bound here if the bears come out here and start to put some pressure down on, which they should here. We have some gaps to fill and some other things that we need to talk about. So let's get into it, take a look at what's going on in the market, how we can plan this out, and how we can get these trades in. If you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe now so you can continue to get our updates. As well as go to finwealthlive.com, and there you can find a link to our free Discord, which we'll talk about in a little bit here, as well as free training, some other things out there, and also enjoying our community. Also, just so you know, on the market open, we post our numbers, what we're going to trade before the market even opens. That way, you know what we're getting into, when we're getting in, when we're getting out. Again, your trades are your own. We're just sharing with you what we're doing. So just want to give you that information because very helpful, especially if you're looking for ideas. So look at the market overall. You can see Dow Jones closed up 1.15%, NASDAQ up 1.58%, and S&P 500 0.59%. So NASDAQ definitely leading the charge, definitely the one leading this market at this point. You see here a little mix across the board. Healthcare pulled back a little bit. Consumer, real estate, utilities pulled back. FANG stocks kind of a little bit flat, not real strong. Amazon was obviously the strongest out of the bunch. Tesla earnings come out this evening. We'll talk about that here on the chart. I did not get in early on. I don't get in early on earnings plays, but I do get in on them while the earnings going on. Once I see a trend going in a certain direction, and I did trade Tesla after the close twice, so that was good. Positive, made good money on both, so I'm happy about that. Not a huge sizes, and obviously I didn't do options because it was after hours, which I would have preferred, but I did get some money on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at here. You can see here PGY, a nice huge gap up. I looked at this one in the morning, but then I just had too many things I was watching, getting into, so I did not trade PGY. But it looks like it was a good gainer, a little kind of lower volume than I like to see. So that's the only thing, a little bit concerned. I like to see when it gets like this 10 million shares, but it probably was all right. And I'm sure there's some people who took that and was very profitable on it. Looking at the S&P 500 E-maze, let's look at that right now. So this is live. This is real time, 15-minute chart. See here the high 39.77. We were looking at something for 3,800. It just came up short, and it's pulling back a little bit. So does it find resistance here? We pull back on the market. It's possible. You see, we kind of I got this trend line here. You see, we kind of are bouncing. We bounced up to it, hit it twice, came back down, bounced off the lower one, back up to the top one again, back down to the lower one, and then back up again. So we might kind of bounce out up on this upward facing wedge here before breaking out either to the downside or the upside. So we'll kind of monitor that, but just know we might be a little range bound here possibly until we get a breakout. But definitely, hitting those new lower highs for sure. So just something to be aware of. Looking at the market watch here, so you can see tomorrow initial jobless claims come out. That could possibly have an effect. Probably the biggest number though is PMI on Friday. That's where you probably see some volatility come back to the market with all the earnings coming out as well. So definitely going to look at plain Tesla again tomorrow on the open, and we'll get into a little bit of that. I did want to show you. I changed the chart tonight from the SPY, and this is the calls and puts ratio. And this, instead of the SPY, we're talking about Tesla tonight since we had earnings. And you can see Tesla's a 1-to-1 almost ratio. So for everybody who's short in the market on put contracts, people are buying the market as well for longs. So you can see here that we got a kind of a interesting range here. And this kind of Tesla, seems to work. So you have a put wall here pretty much at 700. and that's an even number. And then here is 750 even number, so a $50 increment. And this is calls, pretty good size contract base. And then we have 800, which is an even number, which has an even larger. So this is saying here right now, the current stock price is 744. It's swinging high and low, higher and lower after hours. I'll show you on the chart, but it almost hit 780, which was where we were back, I believe, back in June. But we'll look at the chart here. So it kind of went up to retest that area, and we'll see what it does tomorrow. Maybe it tries to rally to 800. Maybe it just kind of comes back and is range bound, because I'm just expecting the market to possibly do that here for a little bit. Now that we kind of did a little bit of a breakout, a lot of times you'll break out and then you're kind of range bound for a little bit, and then you make your next move. So just something to be aware of. But okay, let's get off of this. So just let you know where we're at kind of there. So we're kind of, sitting here right now, kind of between this range. So, there could be some people cashing out tomorrow. So after the close, Tesla, United, Sands, we'll talk about those. I did not trade United and Sands, but I will be watching them in the morning. On the open, we also have AT&T, American Airlines, so another airline. So definitely want to see what's going on there. And then Nucor, Dow, and DR Horton. So tomorrow's going to be my busy day, including after the close. I have several that I'm watching, so see what we can find out, see what we can profit from some of these. So here's Tesla on the 15-minute chart. I brought it down so you can see, the detail here. And you can see right now, it is June 8th is where we hit 778. And then when we spiked on the earnings report, we went to 777.85, so 15 cents short of this number. And then we came back down, and now we're just kind of chopping along, kind of around the 750 range, which is lower than the high the last few days. So that's why I said Tesla might be able to pick up and run again, but it's got to get above these 752. If you get above 752 in the morning, we look to rally back up towards that 780 area. If we don't, then we might become range bound below that number. So just something to be aware of. That's kind of where we kind of want to share with you as far as what numbers are out there, what we're looking at, and how we're trading these things. Looking at Las Vegas Sands, so you have a range here for Las Vegas Sands, and you see that we spiked up here to 37.71, which is the same area that we were back here in June 8th. So again, same level as Tesla. So we've come back up here. Now we spiked up there after hours to retest this area. So again, we break out, look for, running to new highs. Otherwise, we could come back here and just be range bound tomorrow. So just something to be aware of. And UAL, United Airlines. So United Airlines on their earnings, after hitting this high, which is kind of where we're back in June. So you see something common. June was kind of the test of earnings. So just something to be aware of. So you can see that we kind of tested that area, and we pulled back, and we kind of retraced. You can see kind of how we kind of had this double bottom and came up, and the space here is about equal to the space up here. And you see that we've retraced back about 50% of that whole move back down to this area right here. So, so something to be aware of. If we stay above this area here, above $38, we could, possibly range bound up here. If the market does not like the earnings and we start to break down, then look for a range down here in this area, $38 to $35 range. So, just something about us, just so you know, a lot of people say, well, I don't know what service you provide or how to get to your websites and what you do. So this is just a little video real quick just to show you what we do. And this is our website, finwealthlive.com. And here's our intro video.
Have you ever felt like the world is passing you by? Do you feel like you never have enough money? Does building wealth seem impossible or overwhelming? Or does building wealth feel like gambling in a casino? Or perhaps you tried to build wealth and failed. If you answered yes to any of these questions, then we have what you need to know. Our Our team can help develop you into a retail stock and crypto trader, just like many before you. To be successful, it requires learning new skills. And exercise make your skills stronger. Your success will let you trade anywhere. Let our team help you become a better trader. Your journey starts here.
All right, so definitely take advantage of that free services out there, and let's get into some additional charts here. So looking at Google range bound. We talked about this in our nightly videos. We've been range bound for weeks here. So just kind of continue to sit in this area. Again, like we talk about in our training, and also, a little tip here as far as what we do when we are range bound in a market is we trade from the bottom of the range to the top of the range, back down to the bottom of the range, back to the top of the range, back and forth. And that's how we take advantage and make money, while the market's flat. Well, because it's not really flat, but, it appears flat because it's not moving more than, here, Google's not moving more than $19 or $15 here. But, if you're trading options or even stock, you can make some pretty good money on those little swings. So it's something to be aware of. Just a little bit of a training there, a little freebie there as far as, how you can continue to make money regardless how the market's working, which direction it's going. So Tesla. So here's Tesla chart 1 day. You see kind of how we kind of pull back here, kind of chopping back and forth. We start getting to a tighter range, and now we got this big old breakout. So tomorrow the question is, can we hold that breakout and move, towards this 792 area? That would be the next area of resistance, 792. If we break out 792, then we have the 200 at 820. If we break 820, now we can run up towards the top of our deviation bands. Amazon, nice run today. Boy, just exploded up, getting above these moving averages. So it's kind of in this middle range right now, looking, for a continuation play up to 127. Apple, just, slowly, this is the methodical way the bulls can just get in and hold strength and not have these big, huge spikes that then the bears have to come in and push back down. But you see here, I got all these candle lines. So these lines are basically tracing out these candles. I've been doing this to watch Apple as far as where it's going. And you can see today it came up almost, just tagged our line here at the top of these candles right here. So we got to get above this last big candle here. And then the next one obviously is going to be up in this area, which kind of puts us at, at the top of our deviation band. So we could see some resistance and pullback here. You see last time when we hit that area, we kind of pulled back as well. So looking at some resistance in the market, just because we had such a good run, typically the market's going to consolidate, go flat, sideways, kind of how it consolidated right here, and right here, and right here. So looking at maybe that's a possibility here, unless we just kind of break out and the bulls just continue to kill the market right now. If we do, then that means the bears are sleeping, and I'm surprised. Maybe we got a temporary bottom in here for now, and we can get this rally going for a while. So Nvidia, you can see how we had this huge pull down here, came up, got above the 50-day moving average and held it. So if we can hold another couple of days, then looking for a continuation play up to 190, 192. Meta just on a rampage today, just exploded, just really doing well. It held its earnings its earnings report, and so we're sitting here 180. 180 was above this resistance area, looking for a play to 186 now. Break up 186, which is the top of this candle, this big candle. Then the next range is going to be up to 192.54. Which, if we hit that area, we're getting closer and closer to this 50-day and the outer deviation bands. So just something to be aware of. RK, just doing great. It came up here. It's right here, even with where we were back in June. So I think you're seeing something consistent. So we got to see if we can hold this for a couple of days. And if we do, then, the bulls are in control and the bulls are going to run. So something to be aware of. We are in the upper areas of our deviation bands. But that's okay. We can, do that as long as we got the support behind us. And we did close above, right at support. So, if we pull back, we could pull back here and, continue in this little tight triangle. As long as we stay above this trend line, we're good. If we break it, now we've lost that good support line here and we could come back lower. Looking at gold continues to be weak. You can see that as time goes by, the moving averages continue moving down, and so does our deviation bands. So we're above that deviation band. So you should have resistance down here if we come down here, but we are coming down to newer lows. US oil, and just sitting here at resistance at that 20-day. So 2 days now at the 20-day. So looking for a breakout above that. Otherwise, if we hold here too long, we may pull back down back to lows. The VIX, so the VIX, we've got here, right, 2374. We talked about this in our video. It's kind of where we were back here in June. So we're kind of at the June spot right now in the stock prices and earnings reports, and everything's kind of matching up right with June. So if you want to know what happened in June, look at the charts and they'll tell you, because that's exactly what you can continue to hear. And so you can see in June, we held this area for 3 days. And then what happened? We had this huge rally up to the top of, this basically trend line. And when it did that, the market came down. And this is the last time we hit our lowest lows in the market. So we're there now again. We did break out of the wedge. So, this should be resistance if it comes back up to the line. So that's your only, thing that's positive is, we should be able to get some resistance here. But other than that, we got to break through here and hold this. And if we do, maybe we get, a couple of weeks down in this range and allows the market to continue to rally for a few weeks. But if we don't, if we break back up, then, all bets are off for the market. So the SPY continues, higher lows and lower and higher, higher highs and higher lows. So we're kind of wedging up here, back and forth. So we're at the top of this, range right here that we've been in. So we got to either break above it, since now we're above the 50-day, and move towards 100 at 408. If not, we could possibly pull back here, because that's exactly what we've been doing for a few weeks now. So just looking to see if we get a continuation play or not, or if we're just going to continue this this trend upwards. On a 1 week, we're into this candle. We talked about this last night. We're going to start tracing this candle. We're into it now, and so now that we're into it, we could possibly retrace, up here towards the top, which is around, 415. So look for a continuation here. If we break out tomorrow again above 395, look for a continuation play to fill that candle in. Triple Qs, nice and strong, above the 50-day, right between the 50 and 100 now. So triple Qs do really strong. Bulls are really strong with them, and the next resistance area is going to be this candle probably here at 305. Semiconductors, they're nice rally here. We've been riding this trade. Now we're kind of moving off of it, but we're up towards that, deviation band. And you see here, last time we were there for a couple of days and rejected. We kind of went above it back here in March, but back here in June is where we kind of came down. So we're back at that same spot now. So just something to be aware of. We could hit resistance there and pull back. IWM at our resistance area as well. So, but continues to be bullish and doing well. Financials. So financials, you can see here, this looks like a double bottom, kind of right here at the neckline. If we break out this neckline, which is around the 50-day, look for a rally up here. We do have, this upper deviation band, which has been rejection for the stock before. So we're kind of close to that. So look for a possible, pause or rejection at that level. Looking at XLV, so healthcare, you can see here we kind of pulled back up here, and we've kind of been in this little range here. So we're kind of just stuck here in this little range. We've got to really break above this 133 area if we want to continue to rally. XLE, energy sector, sitting right above that 20-day moving average, right on it. So if we can break above that, look for continuation play up in these other moving averages here around 74, 75. Bitcoin broke out resistance, got out above the 50 as well. It's in this deviation band, so just be aware that we could possibly pull back here. But if not, we could possibly play up here towards 26,000. Ethereum's had a nice little rally as well, kind of flattening out and consolidating. So something to be aware of. So, but we really got to get above this 1550 if we want to continue to rally. But right now, in the upper area of our deviation band, so look for a possible pullback. So that's our stocks, our cryptos, the things that we're looking at in the market. Definitely join our Discord here on our website, finwealthlive.com. Now we can continue bringing this content to you, and everybody have a great, safe night. We'll talk tomorrow night and see how your trades went and what to do for the next day. Everybody have a good night.